So this is the painting that started out with just a few rows of dots in the center, those yellow ones. And I'm going to get up close so that you can see where we actually started. And I'll use the pointer here to show you these dots right here, 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 and here were what we did yesterday in the previous video. So you can see that a lot can be accomplished using different size sticks. For example, let's look at those red dots right there. Those were done with a fairly large dowel, probably 3/8 or so inch, and then after it dried we used a smaller dowel for the white and then yet a smaller one on top of that after the paint dries, of course. And you can see that there are various sizes of different dowels that were used to create these kinds of effects. Even those squiggly lines right there are done with a stick, just the point of a stick, and the same with those right there. So you can see very clearly that just using a stick and dragging the paint around a bit can really help out. But if you want to use a brush, down here is some brush work, and down here I've connected dots, just dragging the paint so that it gives a lattice work effect. There's a little brush work down there with that red line. And so all in all, you can see by alternating colors and just following your intuition, alternating the different sizes of dowels, you can create amazingly complex and beautiful paintings just using the stick method that is taught by the Aboriginal folk in Australia. So now I'm going to start working on this section here, and I want to fill it in with a series of small dots that I'm going to create with the pointed end of a skewer. And I'm going to use the color ultramarine blue that I've mixed with white. So you'll see that it just goes on just like this. And then we go back and we dip in the well, pick out a few more dots, and I'm not trying to be particularly straight lined about it. I'm wanting to follow a curve because it gives a very particular effect as it borders the inside of this, and the colors start to blend in such a way that they pop out. And sometimes I like to go from light to dark. Sometimes I alternate various shades of the same paint, and sometimes I go in patterns like the rainbow, starting with, let's say, yellow on the inside and moving over to the darkest shades of red. And sometimes I reverse that. It just depends on my mood and what I'm drawn to in the moment. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that a person can do, is just pay attention to how one is feeling and not worry too much about what you were taught about colors or painting or any of that, and just follow your own inner guide. That's the whole point. Now you can see how the dots are emerging and bringing this space into a kind of relief. And I'm also trying to get the dots inside the crevices, like in there or between the previous row of dots, put a kind of like an inset dot in various places that get down in there, and then you can go around them, and it makes a nice, it looks a little haphazard at first, but then when it all comes together, it's really quite nice. Now here you can see, as I've been working on this segment right here, I've been adding ultramarine blue with white in it in two different shades. One is lighter than the other, so the outside row is a darker one, and then that's followed by an ultramarine blue, which is a little lighter shade, and then followed by that is a row of pink to offset it. So that's one technique that can be used to bring out a specific area. So here now we're working on this same area, and I am using now a blue-green color. I put a row of orange dots with the bigger end of the stick, and now I'm coming back with a pointed stick with almost a complementary color. And so you can see that that jumps it out. So the technique, the basic idea here is that by alternating sizes and light and dark colors, you can create amazingly interesting effects, and vivid too. So here we're now looking at the whole painting, and you notice that I'm starting to work this area right over here. So what I did was I had an impulse to draw a circle there. So I used essentially this, which is a tape roll, and that became a template, and just laying it down on top and then painting the dots around it, and presto, you have a perfect circle. So you can use it almost anything. You don't even have to draw a line sometimes. And so you can see now I'm using a red color, a pyrrole red, and it has the same color in small dots weaving in and out as we go around. You can see I'm spacing them in between, and then I'm coming back in and filling them in. So I'm focusing now on this part of the mandala over here in this corner where that circle is. I'm extending the turquoise pattern with bigger dots, bigger turquoise dots, and then I'm filling them in with red violet dots. So we only have a couple of spaces left to go. So you can see that I put them, I take right inside these areas here, I fill them first with a line, of these smaller dots using a bamboo skewer that's, the point is a little bit blunt. It's and it gives a perfect dot. It's not too small and it's not too big. So here we have one last place to fill in, and then we'll be able to put in the final, it'll be a pale yellow color right in the center, and that will really just bring it out, as you can see. Now here's a case where I'm putting 2 rows of dots on a line. So I made the line first, like over here, and you can use a stick even, or a brush, and then you put back-to-back dots, one upon the other, until it creates this pattern. Very beautiful, huh? So here, after having added side-by-side dots using the blunt point of my stick, here, 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 and so on, all the way down over the line that I had produced, I've now come back and I've added green dots using the point of the stick right down the middle of the line, splitting at this big one here, but the green color offsets the orange color and brings it out in vivid detail. So here I'm drawing lines with a stick. Look at this. You wouldn't believe you can do it, but you can. And it makes pretty decent borders, actually. You have to keep dipping the stick back into the paint, but if you didn't have a brush and you just had the sharp end of your bamboo skewer, you can make nice little designs, free form, and presto, there you have it. And over here you can see I did exactly the same thing, and then I put dots in it. So with a stick you can do a tremendous amount of work, and it gets very complex. And don't forget, we only started right there from the center working out. Something, isn't it? Now in this segment we're extending this design right here out, and as you can see I've used a stick in here, and I've used a stick to make these dots right here into abstract shapes. And then I've taken the big end of this stick and made those orange dots like that. And now I'm coming back through, having made turquoise dots just on the far side of the yellow there, and I'm putting white in between those 2 rows of turquoise right there. And as you can see, you're using the sharp end of the stick. So like this, and you just dip in carefully into your paint, and you keep working right on through that channel, and that really sets it off. So now you have 3 colors in there, just in from here to here to here and here. You have all of this color, and it blends in, and it just really starts to make an incredible painting. And it's all abstract. We're not trying to do anything, but we're just making dots. We're using our stick, and we're creating shapes. So this is what the painting looks like now. And I have used the brush, several different sizes of brushes, to do a couple of things that I haven't done previously. One is to put a little background right in this area here. And with that, I use this kind of a brush here. It's a number 6 flat. And you can lay down a background color that's a little different. Just let's say this one's got a little red in it. And I'm going to do something in there that I don't know yet. And over here, I've used a brush, a small brush here to make this cross hatching. As you can see, I laid it out with a pencil first, just to make sure that I got my lines straight, and used 2 different colors, an ultramarine blue and a dark red, one over the other. Of course, you let the blue dry first and then you put the red over the top. And with that, I used a very, very small brush. This one here is probably a 0 or a 00, and it's very fine, and you can do very detailed work with that kind of a brush. So as you can see, the painting is getting very close to being done now. It's an example of all the different kinds of dot works that you can do that I can think of anyway. Here's another thing that we've added since the last time we photographed, is this little design in here. And that's about it. Oh yeah. Then we did this dot work right here, which we connected and then put a dot on top of the dot, and it looks a little like molecular kind of things. So that's the painting for now. So this then is the finished painting, and we'll look at it from the top. All dots, almost all of it done with a stick. Little bit of brush work where it's just too difficult to do otherwise. And this is just an example of all the different things that you can do and more with a stick and some acrylic paint. So this concludes part 4 of the dot painting tutorial. I want to thank all of you who have joined in to watch this, and all of you who have subscribed. I hope to do more tutorial in the future, but until then, please be sure to check out my website at www.richardwelkerart.com. Thank you very, very much.